Good afternoon, Mr. Parker.
Good afternoon, Pierre. Wonderful to see you once again.
Thank you. Likewise. Um, this particular video, I think we're going to try and wrap everything up.
Oh, God, thank you.
Uh, Try and have a conclusion, because it's always good to have some form of conclusion.
I agree.
We've been on a very long, arduous, painstaking, emotional, but yet very fulfilling and pleasurable journey.
Yes.
So I thank you greatly for enabling me to go on this.
It was my pleasure to share what I have learned through my lifetime with you.
Thank you. But we need to make it clear what our intention was and has been.
I agree.
Because it could get misconstrued what we are intending to do.
Most certainly, and it will be.
And that's fine. But we're primarily intending to initiate some form of dialogue.
Yes.
Because I believe you told me that you've intended to do this for a long time.
A long time, and I'm 60 something.
Right.
I simply lacked the tools to use the internet, something that you have.
Right. Only in a small amount.
Well,
But
it's
yeah.
sufficient for me.
Okay. But regardless of the internet, you were sometimes being confronted with people who were reluctant to even talk about these things.
Oh, you cannot imagine the attacks that I have received when I attempt to share this information with my African American brothers and sisters. It's shocking to them. They suspect me of attempting to do something to them. So it's a hard process for the individual when he hears something like this to even begin to take it as in any sense of truth.
Right.
So it's a difficult thing.
But like any person, you have the right to talk about your history.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In America, we have the freedom of speech.
Okay.
And that is what I'm exercising.
Excellent. Now, we only intended to put it out there.
And to do one video.
That was the intention. But it's kind of...
Grown.
It's grown by itself. And this is what can happen anywhere.
Yes.
If you have a positive intention, which we definitely did.
An interesting subject.
Oh, yes. So we just wanted you to get talking about it, but more importantly, get thinking about it.
Yes. As a listening public. Yes.
Indeed. And within this, we came to the realization that there's a lot of self-hate out there.
Oh, yes. That is what keeps us so subjected and subject to all of the other random powers that be.
Right. But we're trying to create, or not necessarily create, but just...
We're just suggesting to the individual, for one thing, how to look at yourself, how to love yourself, how to deprogram yourself of negative images of yourself and your peoples.
Right. And your history.
And your history. And then integrate yourself into the world at large.
Right. Because you shouldn't be going out there with any reservations about talking about who you are.
Yes. What your ancestors have contributed to get you and civilization to this point.
Right. And understand that you have been programmed.
Oh, yes, we all have. Blacks, the whites, we've all gone through these programmings.
Right. But we need to lose the fear that we have been programmed to take on board.
Yes.
And a lot of times people, if you use the word fear, they will get defensive about that and say they're not frightened or scared of anything.
Different kind of fear we're talking about here.
Oh, yes. But have a positive psyche, a positive image and thought.
Self-image, positive self-image.
Most definitely. rebuild any form of distortion of history. As Mr. Park said, go out there and read books. Do your own investigation.
Ask questions.
And speak with people within your family, your community. But also don't be afraid to go out there and speak to other people, white.
Yes,
you know?
Because what we're doing is for everyone.
It's for everybody.
It's not just for blacks. Because we've talked a lot about it as if it were just for blacks.
Yeah,
however, the truth is we are one race of people.
We are.
And we have used different means to get to where we are, and some of them have been very destructive to other peoples in our environment.
Yeah.
And we can change that starting from here. And you talked about deprogramming, if you keep mentioning it. And the kind of deprogramming I'm talking about is a self-deprogramming. And it actually starts with something very, very simple and that every individual can do. And it's called self-love. It's the first process of deprogramming a negative mind. Looking in the mirror every day and saying, I love you. As corny and simple as that sounds, your psychic hears that. You understand you are a spiritual being. You are not merely this body that we see in front of us. There's a spirit within you. And that spirit is connected to a higher power. Get in touch with a higher power. Call it what you will. Allah, God, Jesus, whatever, but that which is greater than yourself, and know that it supports you, and the love that you're directing toward yourself is the love that comes from it. So the first process is to say, I love myself, and say that to yourself, and look yourself in the eye. And it's a corny process, but it's the beginning of healing.
But even that idea that it's corny is something that's been programmed into.
Absolutely.
Right. And we also need to remember that any time when we see a particular type of person in a negative position, or there's a negative stigma attached to them, understand that that isn't coming from that person or that group of people. And if you want to be specific, all of the negative thoughts, opinions about black people is part of this programming.
Oh, yes.
So you shouldn't be going out there, because you were saying that sometimes you hear black folk refer to other black folk as being nothing. I thought, as if there was a phrase that you used, something ain't nothing.
Nigga, you ain't nothing.
Oh, right.
Why are you acting so uppity? Learn that is those kinds of phrases are not really about you when someone says them to you. They are really about the individual speaking.
Right.
That kind of low and it's heavy on them, and we as a type of being have learned to speak our negatives out at individuals. However, that's a lack of being impeccable with your word. And learn when you are not impeccable with your word. In other words, you don't hold other people up during the day when you pass them. Instead of saying, oh, that guy's hair is so nappy, learn to say, yes, he's good, he's okay. Say positive things about those you pass during the day in your mind. You don't have to say them out loud, but it's a practice. And you will learn that the positiveness that you put out will come back to you manyfold. However, it's something that we all need to learn to do.
Because it's very easy to go out there and say negative things about other people. We all get caught up in it. But we're trying to encourage you to reverse that process. Go out there and rather than say that negative thing, don't even think about a negative thing.
Think positive.
Think positively.
And know that these negative things are not about you. Don't take it personal, in other words.
No, not at all.
Just do not take it personal. Know it's about the person speaking. Some dysfunction in them. And in the process, even if you feel a little hurt, talk to yourself and hold yourself up.
Always.
Say, I love myself and I'm invincible. Because you are. You're made of the same spirit of that which created the universe. We're just an expression of it. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. And what is the other one, Gowan?
It is...
Make no assumptions.
Make no assumptions, and also be your best.
In the end, do your best.
Do your best.
Now, we're not talking about satisfying other people.
No.
Because your best may never satisfy another person. And that's all right. Just so you know that you've done your best. Right. And if you practice these 4 laws, these 4 agreements, you will eventually begin to uplift yourself. You will feel better about yourself. However, first, love yourself. Indeed. Respect yourself. And what respect means is simply let yourself pass. Let others in your environment, rather than attempting to block them, let them pass. As you said, the etymology of different words will just blow you away. The etymology of respect is simply letting an individual pass. It doesn't mean like the ghetto people say, you ain't respecting me, nigga. Oh no, it has nothing to do with that. It has grown, the misuse has caused the definition to be totally different than it was originally intended.
Yeah, but also remember, if you want this new form of respect, you have to give it.
And well, that's
respect, and as you say, respect yourself.
As you go through the day, being impeccable with your word is another form of respecting the world around you.
It is indeed. And you're respecting yourself also, very importantly, means knowing your history, knowing who you are. And
put some effort into it.
Yeah, and not being afraid to talk about the things that you have done as a race, as a people. But I say as a race, but we've said on more than one occasion, there is only one race.
Human race. It's only one human race.
And
if we were different races, the definition of race is basically defined this way. You cannot interbreed with each other. You cannot produce offspring. You would be a different race if that could not happen. Right. In every human standing on the globe today, we can intermarry and produce family. Yeah. So there's just one race.
It is indeed. So go out there, be impeccable with your word, know your history.
Don't take things personally. Love
yourself.
And do your best.
And we only look for parity. If a white, Asian, Indian, any color of people can go out there and talk about what they have contributed to the global history.
Yes.
Black people should and will go out there and do the same. And that is merely a summary of what we've intended to do through these videos.
Yeah, my first intention and driving intention was to bring some information that I had been putting together and seeking after for my many years, and just put it out to the public. They can do whatever they wish with it. Now, we have done other things than I intended, and they've been good things. I'm glad we did them. However, I had a simple goal. Right. When I found the information out about the period 1640 to 1645, and when I found that our DNA lab at Harvard said that, well, African Americans are now the tracer DNA for all Americans. Well, I knew that I had reached my goal. I had reached what had happened and why it had happened. But putting it out there so that other Afro people in the diaspora could hear it and see it and understand how that event has affected us in many negative ways up to this point. Knowing this and knowing how to use it can begin the individual's uplift.
Can indeed. Now, I have to admit, Mr. Parker, it's been draining.
Oh yes, you and I have had many encounters.
We have, and it hasn't been easy, despite how things may have come across.
Well, we're two different individuals.
We are, but I have to thank you greatly for all you've done, and helping myself to gain more knowledge, and if I can take the liberty to speaking on both our behalf. What we've done here is we've tried.
You've tried.
And that's all you can do.
That's all you can do is make the effort.
Make the effort. Don't be afraid. Don't think negatively about yourself. Go out there, dig deep, try your best.
And resist negative opinions. And
they
come from all sides.
They come from all sides, but understand that they are totally unjustified, unfabricated. Unlike thinking that the positive things that are unjustified, it's the negative things. And always keep that in the forefront of your mind.
And understand this. Humans have falsely educated themselves about how to receive energy from the universe. And some of that false belief is at the basis of all of this ill treatment we have done to each other. We suppress each other in order to control each other and to steal energy. Mm-hmm. And the truth of it is there is no need to steal energy when we have a creator that is the source of all power. Mm-hmm. All we have to know is we can just ask for it and be open to it. And it's a practice because many of us have not been doing this. Mm-hmm. And it's not something we're accustomed to doing. Our churches do not teach us the nature of this. One of the great teachers that were sent to us from our Father, Jesus, said these same things. Read it, even in the books that have been edited, many things edited out, much of the truth is still there. So educate yourself, love yourself, and have fun.
And have fun. And you may not agree with a lot of things that we say. You may not like the style in which we say it.
Disagreement is the basis of investigation.
There you go.
So disagree.
Right. But if you do or don't like anything that we've done, that's fine. But we just encourage you to still go out there, check out your history, be positive. If you can find out things which are more accurate than we did, share those with other people. But speaking from a personal standpoint, I'm very happy with how we've interacted, Mr. Parker.
Thank you.
I repeat, my energy levels are low now.
Okay.
I might even start turning hood.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
My alias Big Craig might come up in this piece, but
keep him under control.
He's been under control for all these videos so far. So I'm going to return to my normal everyday persona.